So I want to show you how to connect Feedhenry to data virtualization. 3 easy steps. The first step is to create your data virtualization application on OpenShift. You can look at the OpenShift cartridge for data virtualization out on JBoss data virtualization, and it has all the instructions for creating your application on OpenShift, including some articles here. So I'm going to briefly describe it, and you can always go back to these articles. Then I've already created my application, but it's very simple to go to applications. Going slow here for a second. And then really all you have to do is click Add Application, and then your XPaths with data virtualization. And then you can name it whatever you want. Once you create that application, it'll be like here. You'll see all your sign-ons, usernames, and passwords. For this case, you want to look at TH user and password because you'll use that in your Feedhenry application. So let's go over and just quickly take a look here. And in this case, I use the MySQL and Salesforce. And with PHP MyAdmin, I added data connected to MySQL so that I could have the data available. And so let's go over here real quick just to show you. This article shows you how to provision data virtualization on OpenShift, which I just kind of briefly described to you. And then after that, you'll want to connect to the data virtualization UI and create the MySQL service, the Salesforce product service. So what those are doing, it creates a data service to the MySQL data source with the product name and sales price, and then a data service for Salesforce to get the product name, and then the mashup service aggregates those together to get the ID, the product code, sales price, and product name. And so that'll help you get all of that set up. And I just want to show you this real quick. So if you look at the intro into the data virtualization web interface, that goes through creating those data services on OpenShift. And so once you create that mashup, we're going to use the, let's go back here real quick, and we look at these view details. See the sample data there. We're going to use this OData endpoint. And if you come here just to the browser, you'll see that I'm getting the data returned. I can also filter that. So let's jump over, and that was step 1 and 2. So step 3 is actually creating the Feedhenry application, which I did here. And if you look at the project, I just created an Angular JS Hello World client, which has the, Quick Start, which has the client and the cloud app. And just real briefly within the cloud app, I went under the hello.js, and you'll notice here in the URL, I added the OData URL, and then I added the authorization for the basic authentication with the username and password here. And that's all that's required to get the data within the cloud application. So that's the cloud service that communicates to data virtualization on OpenShift. But I have the mobile client, and here you can see the preview. But just to show you real quickly, you can see within the controller, I have a function that highlights the row and it parses the response. So I have JSON, and then within my view and my example HTML, I'm displaying all that data. So here I have the button and the input. I can send nothing and get it all, or I can put something in and it's going to do a search, and it's just a starts with search to return the data, and then it's displayed. So if we look, this is really nice on Feedhenry because I have the different types of mobile devices in the emulator. And I'm just going to show you the emulator later in another video. We'll go through how to actually put it on your phone, on your device. But this is a nice emulator. So what I'm going to start off doing, I'm just going to retrieve the data. And voila, you'll see that this is all the data coming from MySQL and Salesforce. And let's go back up here, because that's just retrieving everything. I didn't enter anything in. But I can enter something like it's just going to do a starts with. So any of the product names, I'm doing a parse of OData with the product name, and you'll see that it comes back with these product names. And I can also select, if you'll notice, I can select the row. And in another screen, I'm going to have it display that data and be able to edit it, and then have it go back to be written through the mashup service to MySQL and Salesforce. But for now, it's displaying the data. I can search and I can select it. So thanks for listening.